everybody, and welcome back to the Squad Saves Football podcast. I'm joined today by Jamie. Jake and Aiden have disappeared on us once again. So you've got the two reliables. The reliables, I would call us, are here to talk about football. We've got some interesting topics. The Club World Cup is very much underway. Some interesting games, some whitewash games, and some surprising results maybe as well, with Inter Milan drawing overnight. We're also going to be having a look at Manchester United. Now, I think that might be why Aiden's hiding away, because he is our resident Man United fan, and he just, I don't think he can face the pain of being a United fan right now, and he didn't really want to talk about it. And then, we'll have a look at the transfers. Obviously, Florian Wirtz is close to coming to Liverpool. Medical on Friday, as well as Frimpong already in, as well as other clubs. Leeds made a signing, didn't they, the other day, Jamie?
We made a free agent signing of Lucas Nmecha, a striker from Wolfsburg. We are on the verge of, I think he's having his medical today. Xhaka Bijol, the centre back from Udinese, some Slovenian centre back. Looks pretty good, but they all look good on their slides on YouTube, don't they? So.
Oh yeah, we love a YouTube highlight reel. You can't stay away from them, can you? Though you have to go back and watch them, because no matter what, you're just drawn in by them. As much as I didn't want to watch the Wirtz ones, I mean, he looks amazing, doesn't he, in them?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think watching a highlight video on an attacking player over a defensive player is a lot better than because all you're seeing is a couple of tackles instead of amazing passes.
Header scored, and that's it. one header, what they scored from a corner.
Pretty much.
But anyways, we're going to start off with the Club World Cup. It's ongoing right now in the blurred background of Jamie's screen. Real Madrid are playing, drawing 1-0 with Al Hilal at the moment. Jamie, if you had an end of match prediction, what would you say?
The way it's going, personally, I'd say Al Hilal.
Yeah. Trent yanked off on his debut, the number 12. An interesting signing, which we can talk about in a bit. But what have you made of the Club World Cup so far? Has it been exciting? Has it not really caught your intrigue?
It's really not caught my intrigue, to be honest. I've watched 2-3 games. I think the only game that I was interested in watching was the PSG Athletic Madrid game, just because it was two heavy hitters playing against each other. I wasn't interested in watching the Bayern game, even though it was goals galore. I haven't. It doesn't help with the times. So you can catch the first game of the day, usually maybe the second game, but then the ones that go on that start at like 1 a.m. kind of thing, because of the time difference. They usually tend to be the smaller teams in the group anyway, so there's no interest in them.
Yeah.
But even the games I've watched, it's been lackluster. It's not been end to end. It's not been edgy seat stuff. It's kind of just been slow, rolling the ball around, pass. Boring football, to be honest.
I mean, I'll admit, I haven't actually watched a minute of it yet. I think I'll tune in maybe at the knockout stages, because then like you say, the heavy hitters will be going head to head, and it might be interesting to see how much effort they put in. The one game that I thought looked good was the Benfica game. That was the one game that I thought that might have been worth a watch. 2-2 with Boca Juniors, red cards flying about. Might have been an interesting one. Obviously, for a team like Boca Juniors, there's good prize money, so there's a lot on it to try and get through, isn't there? But
yeah, I think for a win, every win you get
2 million. I heard 2 million. Yeah.
And I assume if you get a draw, it'll be something like 500 grand. Yeah. So it's worth it for the smaller teams if they can pull off a result like that.
And even big teams in a smaller country like Boca Juniors, for example, that there's not the most money in that country when it comes to football, but it's a good opportunity, especially I imagine if you get to the knockout stages. Look, I wouldn't bet against a team like Boca Juniors or someone around that level having a go if they got there. Maybe causing a bit of an upset. I mean, look at is it Al Hilal right now playing Real Madrid? Yeah, Al Hilal drawing with Real Madrid. So anything can happen in football.
They don't need the money though, do they?
No, they don't. I'm just saying the less teams, the lesser surprising teams, if you know what I mean.
Well, I mean, it fascinates me because the history of the competition, it's always been a big competition for the South American teams.
Yeah.
They've always found it a massive tournament. For them, it's their chance to prove how good they are against European opposition. And so it's a trophy that they are dedicated to winning. So you do see that the South American teams especially seem to play with a bit more passion compared to, but they just don't have the capability of the European teams. But the European teams aren't playing with any passion in them. They're just passing the ball around and really lethargic. It
Yeah.
might change when they get to the knockout stages. You'd hope it does. You're hoping when it comes to bigger hitter against big hitter that you're going to see some amazing games, end to end stuff. Some masterclasses. But
Well, PSG and Bayern Munich certainly seem to be taking it seriously out of the two sides, I'd say. Bayern Munich 10-0 against the Farmers and school teachers, and PSG obviously 4-0 against Atletico. So, I mean, hopefully they will go through to the knockout stage. Let's not be silly. And hopefully they'll go with the same sort of ferocity that they did in them games, won't they? But anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about our combined Club World Cup XI, or 11. So basically, 11 players from all the teams. I'm guessing you've got 6 or so Auckland players in there, Jamie?
I've got the goalkeeper, yeah. He made some amazing saves.
No. Do you want to go first?
Right. So, I mean, goalkeeper, there's only really one goalkeeper you can go for. And for me, it's Donnarumma.
Oh, I've got a different one. So.
You can't look past Donnarumma. It might be PSG bias, but I've said it over and over again. They're the best team in the world right now.
Oh yeah,
you just can't look past him. He's amazing. At right back, it is the boy.
Hakimi.
You know who I'm going to say, Hakimi.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't need to say much.
He's the best in the world right now. He's the best in the world.
Yes,
he's the best
he
right
is.
back in the world.
At centre back, my centre back pairing is, and there was a couple of options, but.
Yeah.
For me, I kind of had to go for one from each of the teams from the Champions League final. So I've gone Bastoni and Marquinhos.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're just the two of the best centre backs going right now. You could have had Pacho. You could have had.
I like Pacho. I do like him.
I mean, the only other team I could really go for was a Bayern centre back. Really, there wasn't much more. City, I won't pluck anyone from City. I won't pluck anyone from Chelsea. This is the only thing is I'm not that clued up on the South American teams, and I don't think they have players that would get into this 11 anyway. To be honest,
No, mine's all Europe based.
Yeah,
teams.
so yeah, Bastoni and Marquinhos, and then the left back. It's just gonna have to be the PSG left back, Nick Mendes, isn't it? Like it just has to be like
4 out of 5 are PSG so far.
I mean, I quite easily could have. 5 out of 5.
I mean, I tried to go away from mine, so my teams are a little bit less PSG, just because I wanted to get other teams involved. But go on, give us your midfield.
No, if we'd have said max 3 players, from
we
each
probably
team,
should have said that.
It made it a lot more interesting for me to do. I should have probably gone down that route.
Yeah.
I've gone 3 midfielders, so 4-3-3. I've gone Rodri.
Fair.
I know he's been injured, but he's just the best.
Mm-hmm.
In the world, there's nothing going past him. I've got Jude, and then I've got as a number 10. I've got Palmer.
Fair.
I was trying to think of somebody else that's in the tournament currently right now in that number 10 spot, and I couldn't think of anybody to put there. I was contemplating put Jude there, but then I didn't have anybody to go in the 8.
Oh, I could have told
and
you too.
Stuck there. I was thinking about Fabian Ruiz or João Neves, but then again, it'd have been another PSG player, and my midfield is PSG free.
Aye, well done. The attack won't be. I'm curious to see what you've gone for the attack. I wonder how you've done it. So go on, let us know what you've got.
I've gone Dembele.
Yeah.
You kind of have to have Dembele. I mean, if he wasn't, he's up there for Ballon d'Or for me, to be honest.
Yeah.
I've gone Big H up front.
Harry Kane, yep.
Yep. And Mbappe on the left.
Oh.
Now, and yes, I could have gone Vinny. Vinny was the only other shout for me personally.
Yeah, it's between him and Mbappe, right? Like they're the two that you choose.
It was just them. And personally, I prefer Mbappe over Vinicius Jr. So I kind of had to go for him. And it was, bit of PSG in there.
Yeah, a little bit of PSG. All right, I'll run through mine. So I tried to do as little PSG as possible, with obviously PSG being a big side in it. I've got 4 PSG players in total, so there's your little spoiler. In goal, I've gone for Courtois. I think he's the only other goalkeeper you could choose between. I've also For the rest of the team, I've basically done it based off of what I watched this season and what I saw. So right back Hakimi, the centre backs, I've gone for are Bastoni and Hutchison from he's from Real
Really?
Madrid now, but obviously someone who I actually watched this season for Bournemouth. Like
Do you know what it is? That is a
give
very
it a
good
chance.
shout. I just didn't think about it because it was the new transfer. I didn't think of him being because of the window. I didn't think that he'd joined Real Madrid yet, even though I
But
know
he's
he
in.
has
Yeah,
because
in.
he's literally in the team right now.
Yeah.
So I just didn't think of that. I was just thinking in my head, oh, it's Bournemouth. He's moving to Real Madrid when it goes through, kind of thing. So
Yeah. Left back Mendes, fair enough. Caicedo in DM. I think, like I said, I went off the season we had. Rodri didn't play. So, yeah,
yes,
Caicedo,
yes.
very good season. Very, very good. Probably the second best DM in the world behind Ryan Gravenberch. The other two midfielders I've gone for are two more sort of like 8s, and I didn't go for a 10. I've gone for Barea and Vitinha.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
When I was, like I say, when I was talking about my midfield, it was Fabian Ruiz, João Neves, or Vitinha as the ones that I could have had on the midfield. I just didn't want to put more PSG in, knowing that I was going Dembele.
Yeah. And in the
But
front
that is a
three,
great shout.
front three we're unanimous on Dembele, Kane, and Mbappe. Yeah, I think I do think Mbappe at times is maybe a little bit overrated with some aspects of his game, but in general, I mean, what a player! And I mean, he actually outdid Ronaldo's debut season, didn't he? So there's something to be said about that. And he did show up at times in Europe, not all the way, of course, against Arsenal, he went missing, but certainly against Man City, he was good.
For me, Mbappe gets a bit of criticism. He's not one of them players that turns around and in interviews he says, "I'm the best. I do this. I do that." Rah, rah, rah. He can only have the title of what he's paid and things like that, and how good other people say he is. Do you know what I mean? Like Vinicius gives off this aura of he knows he's good.
Yeah.
He says he's good. He look at the when he didn't get nominated for the Ballon d'Or. He didn't win the Ballon d'Or. Look how he acted with it. Look how the Real Madrid acted with it. You know, Mbappe doesn't come across as that. I know they play the same team, so if that happened, they'd probably Real Madrid would still probably act the same. But him as a player, he doesn't seem like he's got that same.
Yeah, I think maybe he's
Vinicius
helped by
Vinicius
Real Madrid though with that in terms of he was at PSG, he was a superstar, and I think everyone did see him as arrogant. Look at the amount of clips of him stopping running, the whole thing's coming out with how he was with the team, and especially how PSG are now without him. But being at Real Madrid, it's almost like you're expected to be arrogant, and it makes him seem less arrogant, maybe a little bit, because he's around other people like that.
Yeah, I get what you mean. He's gone from being a superstar at one team to a superstar alongside other superstars.
He's at the team, isn't he? He's at the superstar team.
Yeah, at the team. So yeah, I suppose he fits right in. But you just can't look past Mbappe compared to Vinicius this season, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I agree. Vinny also had a drop off, didn't he? Compared to before the Ballon d'Or, let's call it, and post Ballon d'Or, I don't think Vinny's been anywhere near as the level of terrifying that he was. And now, yeah, it'd be interesting to see how next season goes with Trent pinging them crossfield diagonals to him, because I think that will help him a lot. But we'll see, won't we? But yeah, there are two 11s. Let us know in the comments down below who you think had the best 11. Me, Ginger Jamie, or other Jamie, and. Yeah, next up, I suppose, shall we get into looking at Manchester United? Right, so Manchester United are a club in trouble. What, Jamie, do you reckon the key issues are? I mean, for me, I have to sit there and think one of them is the manager. Do you personally think Amarim's the one? Is he right for United?
I think it's too soon to say. He didn't want. You have to remember, he didn't want to realistically take over the team midway through the season. He wanted to take over at the end of the season, but United had said, "Look, it's now, or the chance might not come again."
Yeah, absolutely.
And so he had to take it. So, as much as it is down to his fault and his tactics and his formations and things like that, I do feel for him because what else was he supposed to do? Carry on with the way they were? Well, I suppose hindsight, because if he'd gone with tactics that had won games, then they might have finished further up. But were they still going to get Europe at that point anyway? I didn't mind him using the tactics that he did because he needed to see. Essentially, that was a massive preseason for him. That's what it's figured out to be. A massive preseason to see who fits the tactics and who wants to keep and who's gonna have to be cut loose because they're just not good enough for the team and not good enough for the tactic. So I do feel for him. I think he can be the right manager for United. I mean, at the end of the day, who else are they going to go and get? Who else is out there right now that's going to come in and be able to improve that team?
This is the thing. The only manager I can think of is was at
Other
times
than
Zidane was the one that I always used to think about being able to deal with maybe the personalities at Manchester United and come in and boss it a little bit. He's been sitting around doing nothing for a long time, hasn't he? My big thing with Amorim is the formation. We've mentioned it in other podcasts. Three back in England doesn't do too well. It doesn't. Five back does. An out and out five back. But if you try to play a three back, it's never done too well because you get exposed on the wings. You just do.
This is where he needs to adjust. I agree with what you're saying. He needs to adjust that though because the three at the back does work when attacking, but when you're defending, you need to go into a five back.
A solid five.
And
back
it does.
as well.
Yes, it does, and it does work. Conte proved it did.
Yeah, Chelsea are the only team I think I've seen. Well, he didn't do it at Tottenham, but Chelsea I think are the only team I've seen to successfully portray a five back. But at the same time, Chelsea, look, if teams have stigmas about them, right? If I think about Chelsea, I always think of stern, solid defence. You know, Mourinho really was the one who installed that. Conte brought it through with the five back. If I think about Man United, they're not a five back team. Man U aren't a stern defence. They're meant to be the exciting attack, aren't they?
I mean, in that case, you should have one at the back for Man United because they don't have defenders that are them big defensive.
You think about traditional Man United. They had that big two solid centre backs that were a brick wall, and then flying forward wing backs, and just impressive players around the board. Now, look, they may not have the impressive clientele right now, but I think they've lost. If they go to a free back, they're going to lose what they were. And also, if Amorim gets the money that he wants and shapes his team how he wants it, and it doesn't work, then they're really screwed, aren't they? Because it's bad as it is, but then if they go to it, there's not many other managers that want that free back, you know? So...
Again, but if they don't and they get rid of him, bring in somebody else, and they spend the money on what they want for the formation, then they're still stuffed. It's...
I mean that's problem number two, right? Excessive wages and being Man United. Now Man United is struggling with their wage bill. They got to sell, and they got people like Casemiro that are killing the club really from inside, aren't they? Because they can't recruit and split that wages elsewhere. But they just don't seem to recruit right, do they? They always have to buy the big name or buy a name who's at least a little bit established. And do you think that's part of their problem as well? Like you say, if they spend all this money there.
Isn't that down to fan pressure though? Because you know what the fans are like. The fans are always demand. They go on and bang on and bang on and bang on about there's no money ever spent in the club. Look at how much money they've spent.
Yeah,
and they say that the owners don't spend the money. They don't spend. They sell players and they keep the money for themselves. Look at how much money they've spent. They've spent more than. But it's probably what Chelsea that the only ones that have spent more, and that's only because of the buyout and all that things.
Arsenal. Maybe.
So yeah, maybe now, but I just think players like.
I think the fans. Do you not think it's gone the other way now, where fans just. They sit there now. I think, look, you will have the vocal minority on social media who will obviously go, I want to sign the biggest star in the world. We should be doing that. But I think now it's gone, and it will take you Man United fans to comment on us and let us know down below. But it will come down to, look, do we not just now want to take a chance on that random player? Scout him, find him from across the seas and bring him in, and then we'll love him, out of nowhere. I mean,
But that's not the Man United
I
way,
mean,
though,
how
is it?
big of a
They've
name?
always
I
signed
know. I'm
big
not
players.
saying it has to be a nobody, but how big of a name was Ronaldo before he came to Man United?
He was very
He
well
was
known up and
established.
coming
He was up and coming and
in
well known,
in
right?
Portugal. He was very well known,
And
but
that's
he
the
was
sort of thing they should be going for, though. Well known in their country. Like you, right? Look at the I'm gonna butcher his name. Begins with M. The one that Real Madrid have just signed. The Argentinian young star. Mastuano.
Mastuanoni or
Yeah.
something like that.
Young kid. Everyone in Argentina probably knows about him. Very hyped
Well,
around him. And look, I'm not saying that they could have got him. I'm just saying in each country there are people that are well known and established, and this is the way, man, you need to be looking, because they
it's
could have.
different though.
He was around last year, and they could have probably gone in for him last year, and had that up and coming star in their club before Real Madrid got their chance to get their hands on him for 35 million.
But it's different. It's different. Like, I mean, you're saying that they could have equally gone and got that Estavo that Chelsea signed on a pre deal
Yeah,
but because he's 16 and I think he's had to wait a
yeah.
year to come to them. Do you know what I mean? They could have quite easily done that.
But
They
this is what
they
they should be
do
doing,
these.
shouldn't they?
No, but they do these type of transfers. You just don't hear about them because they go into the under 21s. That's where they sign them for. So you don't really hear about the transfers. They the difference is between what you've just said and when Ronaldo was signed by Man United. Man United were a top team. They were still winning titles. They signed him when they were winning titles. They look at the team that they had when they signed him anyway. You
I
know,
agree.
them they can't. Can they afford to go now at this moment in time? Can they afford to go buy an 18-year-old from Brazil and throw him into the first team and hope he works? Can they? I don't think. I
I
don't
mean,
think they can.
are they really gaining anything else by the sign? Let me pose it this way to you: would you rather spend 30 million on this next thing in Brazil? Let's just say, who has had some established seasons. Don't know who it is, but let's just go off of that. Or would you rather spend 65 million on Mason Mount?
I agree with you. I
Okay.
get where you're coming from. I
Yeah.
understand that. I do understand that. Like, it's common sense. You have to remember that Mason Mount it's English tax. So
Yeah, but I'm just
he's
even still without English, they're still
But
paying 45 because
the
they're buying from
problem
a
for
rival.
United with these transfers is they've had problems with transfers ever since Ferguson left.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ever since Ferguson left, they've had trouble with transfers ever since then. David Moyes came in, had got one transfer, Fellaini. That's all he was able to bring in.
Yeah.
He had gone in with a load of tags. I want this, that, and they only brought in one right at the end of the window for him. Do you know what I mean? Like, and from then it's just been a knock-on effect. They thought it'd get better when Woodward left.
Yeah, but
And it didn't. It just
hasn't.
got
Has it?
worse.
It
They
hasn't gone
then ended
anywhere.
up spending money galore and bringing in a load of crap.
Yeah.
And it's just dug a hole for them. It's made them even worse. And unfortunately, I don't know how they get out of this. I genuinely don't see how.
I think the only
they turn
way.
it around.
I mean, we'll have a look at their squad in a moment and see what they need to get rid of there. But I think, as well as dropping players, they need to drop the pride a little bit.
Yeah.
And almost go back to where they were before Fergie. Almost, he's the one that built them to there. Drop yourself, put your back there, and start building again. And look, if you think Amarim's the one to do that, build around it. But you've got whoever you're going to do it with. You have to be, pretty certain that they're going to be able to make the changes. And that's the hardest thing.
I think the fans need to be realistic as well.
I think they still
have this divine. Think that they have this divine right that they should be still challenged for titles. And
that's funny, isn't it? Because they still do, which is the funny thing.
But they don't.
They do challenge for trophies. I mean, over the last 5 years, they've been in 5
I
finals.
didn't say trophies. I said titles.
But I don't think they care about titles so much. Well, not care about titles, but I don't think they do think they're going to go for titles.
They have this divine. They think they have this divine right that they should be up there and challenging constantly, and they don't. Everything comes in swings and roundabouts. You had the great Liverpool team, then they disappeared for a while.
A long time.
Now there's the resurgence.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You've had
and
everyone. Chelsea had their little bit. Man United did it a couple of times.
Man City are in it.
Yeah, Man City are in it. It comes swings and roundabouts. Unfortunately, Man United is going through their period where they're not going to challenge for things.
Even the mighty Real Madrid had it as well. It happens to every single side. But anyway, let's get on to the next segment. So speaking of the bad Manchester United position that they're in right now, we're going to do a little bit of a review on their squad. A buy, keep, and loan. Wait, no, I've messed that up. A keep, loan, sell, because we're doing buying another time. We can't buy people in this. We're doing a keep, loan, sell on the Manchester United squad. So we've got their main squad, well it is at the moment, before this transfer window gets really into the grips of things. We know they're trying to get rid of some people, but we might disagree. Should they keep Jadon Sancho? Who knows? But yeah, we're going to go through each of them. Who should they keep? Who should they loan out? And who should they sell? Go on, Jamie. Who are we going to start off with?
Right, let's go. The obvious one. Andre Onana.
Okay, I'm on camp sell. I think he's just not the keeper. He's just not the one, in my opinion. What about you, Jamie?
If they sell him, what money are they going to get for him?
About 25-30 million.
It's a tricky one. They can't keep him.
He's not good enough. I mean, you can't loan him.
Yeah, they're gonna have to sell him out. I mean, he's just not good enough. But I mean, I don't think they get 25 million for him, to be honest. Who's stumping up 25 million for the amount of mistakes he makes?
Oh, I think in foreign leagues, Saudi league even, I could see him going out there. I really could.
Yeah, I suppose.
And
right.
and to my thoughts, I mean, we'll do the other keeper, shall we? Bayinda. To my thoughts, I don't think he's any worse Bayinda than Onana, and you wouldn't get as much for him. So I would say keep him, and he should be the second choice goalkeeper.
Yeah, I was about to
who
say,
they get.
Keep him.
He's a solid two.
Keeper.
He's a solid number two, isn't he? Especially for a team that finished 15th in the league. I mean,
do you know who United should have bought for keeper? They should have bought Kelleher.
Yeah, but I don't. I think there's a lot of moves Kelleher would have done. What's happened?
Real Madrid have got a penalty in the 91st minute.
Wow. Okay. The Real Madrid India Club World Cup is on right now. Anyway, Bayinda, we're saying keep. Right, Jamie, who are we going for next?
So we will go Diego Dalot.
Oh, I think... How old is Dalot now? Like 29-ish? Is he old?
Something like that, and Real Madrid's penalty just got saved.
Brilliant. I would say...
26 years.
26. I say keep. That keeps me on the keep side. I don't know about you. I don't think he's the worst. He's versatile, right? He can play left, right.
I would say keep. He can play left back. He can play right back. He could probably fill in at centre back if he had to.
Yeah, in a free back.
Right. Yeah. He's probably one of their more consistent players.
Yeah.
Out of the squad, he is probably one of the more consistent players.
Yeah.
Not amazing, not awful, just consistently average for them.
Yeah.
So I'd say keep. Yeah, I'd say keep.
Yeah. All right. Who we got next?
Let's go Harry Amas. Now,
it's got to be a loan, right?
I'd say alone. I'm not too sure how old he is.
He's not that old though. Is he early 20s at most, right? Like.
Let me have a look, and I'll find out.
Personally, I just think he's one for the future.
I mean, alone. He's only 18 years old. So
there you go. Yeah.
So perfect for him. Yeah.
I mean, like a Leeds, he could do well at Leeds, a lower league Premier League side.
No, I think.
What do you think? Championship.
Championship. I always think that a Premier League player, 18, 19-year-old player, always needs their first loan needs to be further down the pyramid, whether it be Championship or League One. And if they succeed and do have a good season in the Championship, then maybe you look at bringing them into the squad and integrating them into the team, or moving them on loan to a lower
Prem side,
yeah,
or a European side who's in the top tier. Next up, who we got?
Let's go for a Mazraoui.
Oh, keep.
Now I'm straight sell for him.
I thought he was good. I think he's quite good. I think he's been one of their best players this season.
For me, I don't think he's good. I don't think he's good enough. I don't think they can do so much better. You have to remember, if they're going to keep Dalot, I think they need a right back. They need a full rebuild. If you can't keep both right backs. You just can't. They need a right back. They need a full new defense.
Oh,
You can't. If we want to keep Mazraoui, we have to get rid of that lot.
no, because Dalot can play left. Dalot left, Mazraoui right.
Yeah, but he can. He's more He's natural more in that
Yeah,
position,
but
isn't he?
I don't know. I actually think Mazraoui is quite good.
Well, then
I,
we have to get rid of Dalot. Then Dalot
Alright,
gets
no,
sold.
no, 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 right, hang on. Alright, let's do it this way. We both get to put our foot down on one thing. Throughout this list, we both get to put our foot down on one thing. So, say, if I put my foot down on this, you put your foot down on another thing.
Okay, you're gonna regret. You're gonna regret
But
to
I'm not saying I'm
regret
doing
that.
it on this one. I'm going to argue the point. Mazraoui, for Manchester United, has actually been one of the better players throughout the season.
That is fine.
And
I'll accept your point, but we are not keeping both their right backs. One of them has to go.
okay,
So
Mazraoui's better than Dalot. Dalot can go down. Dalot can go.
Right, Dalot's getting sold, and Mazraoui's staying.
Mazraoui, you have to admit, Mazraoui's better than Dalot.
They're both as bad as each other.
I actually think United fans will be on my side as well. I've seen United fans get hating on Dalot a little bit. Anyway,
Maybe. I just think over the seasons, Dalot's proven himself consistently over the seasons. I know it's Mazraoui's only first season, so. All right, let's go for a Dillet.
Sell.
Let's sell him because
he's a fraud. He's terrible.
Pile of crap. There was a reason Juventus wanted to get rid of him. There's a reason that
Bayern
wanted to get rid of him, and United were like, "Oh yeah, we'll pay 65 or whatever they paid for him. Yeah, we'll take him off your hands. You don't want him. We'll quite happily take him."
Yeah, absolutely.
I've never seen it. He was he was amazing at Ajax though. When he was in his younger years, he was absolutely amazing there.
Yeah,
and
but
then
that
he
happens.
just moved.
That happens though, doesn't it? Did he get an injury? I don't think he did he?
I don't think he did. No, I think he gained weight.
Yeah, maybe. The Bayern bulking. The Bayern bulking didn't do him any favors. That's what it is.
Well, right. Let's move on to Aiden Heaven.
Now, I'd say keep personally.
I'd say keep because, again, I know he's only like 18 years old, but Amorim seemed to like to use him and that 3-back.
I'd even say,
and he never seemed to put a foot wrong, really.
And if he's not playing, I'd honestly say he'd be just as beneficial to be in the reserves than be on loan and called up at the right time. Rather, he's on loan, he's much harder to get to.
It'd be beneficial to have him on the bench to bring on another sub if you need to, anyway.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Go on. Next up.
Let's do a Mason Mount. No, I am all for sell.
Yeah,
but what? He's not good enough. Chelsea absolutely robbed United for him. He was great at Chelsea, don't get me wrong. He was really good.
He had a bad season though, and they bought him after a bad season.
Yeah, exactly. And what was that? 65 million for him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What's he done at United to prove that he should be able to be kept?
I mean, I'd say one more season.
I just really
he's had injuries this season. He had glimpses when he came back from injury. You know, I personally would say keep for one more season. I wouldn't object to selling him, but you got to think, right, how much are you going to get for him? 40?
It's English tax. You're probably going to get about 30 for him, I'd say. And he'd probably end up at 30 to 40. 30 to 40. He's going to end up at a team like West Ham, Aston Villa.
But what are they going to get better than him for that 30 to 40? Because they will need to replace him if he goes.
Some little South American, 19.
Yeah, but their recruitment's not that good. like we have to look at Manchester United, right? That if they were Brighton, I would completely agree with you. But when was the last time Man United actually pulled off a good scouting mission?
I suppose.
Like they're not going to get it, and then they'll get Man United taxed anyway. I personally think they're not going to find better for him at that price.
I'll let you off on that.
Yeah,
we'll keep him.
Keep him for one more season. Next year when we do this again, because they're still broken, we'll sell him. I promise. All right, go on.
All right, let's go. Luke Shaw.
Sell. He's past it.
I feel for him because the injuries got to him. You know,
he got fat.
he got fat. Mourinho kicked off.
Mourinho called it right. He got it right. Another thing Mourinho got right. You know, at the end of the day.
And then he just struggled with injuries, and it's just ruined his career really. So I think sell him, lower Premier League team, maybe
20
go to
million.
MLS or something.
20 million for him, easy. Maybe even 15.
Right. Let's go. Garnacho.
See,
Sell. I mean, he's pretty much already
he's
out the door
going.
anyway. I don't think Cameron wants him anyway.
I think
And the money, they'll get some decent money for him.
I think they've made a mistake in making it as public as they have with him going, because
Yes,
I
because
think
it's
that's knocked off
it's
10 million
stay.
off the price tag really. And
Yeah.
I actually think if you'd gone back a season ago, he would have been one of the most expensive players probably to buy.
Yeah. I think it doesn't help that it's the optics of showing that he's got a bad attitude.
Yeah.
That's not
Absolutely.
teams aren't gonna want that in their teams. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I don't know why teams like Chelsea are sniffing around him with knowing that he's got that bad attitude.
The only one I think Arsenal would do quite well to have him, and I think Arteta could maybe fix that attitude. He's got a good record of player development, and it is a positive atmosphere in Arsenal. They're much. It sounds silly, but I always look at Arsenal as they're not so much about winning at the moment. They're more about being a team and having a good team spirit, and that
But Garnacho isn't that. He's not.
But that could rub off on him.
He wants. You have to remember who's his idol. Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
That's who he adores. Do you know what I mean?
Then he
that's
should
his
go to
idol.
Europe. Then he shouldn't want to stay in the Premier. He should want to go to Europe.
What player is more self-centered and not team-orientated than Ronaldo?
Yeah. No, I get that, but he also has the Messi nation links. But yeah. Anyways,
Well,
I'm happy with Sell,
He's being sold.
and yeah. Go on, next up.
Let's go Harry Maguire.
Keep.
Really?
You got to keep part of that soul. He works in a free back. He always has. You know what? He's a professional bloke, and I think that's what Man U need. Look, I'm not saying he should start every game, but you got someone coming on for the last 20 minutes. I feel comfortable with him coming on.
Big old slobhead.
Yeah, but like you need a bit of like that club needs professionalism. That's what it needs more than anything.
We should have had another tier saying bench, and he'd be on the bench. Mount would be on the bench.
And they'd all be on the bench. Apart from Mazraoui. Mazraoui would be a starter because we got Dallo settled. Anyway,
right,
carry on.
Go to his partner in crime, Martinez, the butcher, El Butcher. Now for me, Sell. Injuries are he's constantly injury plagued.
He is.
He needs to be sold.
Look,
he's not as good as Man United fans say he is.
He's not.
He's so overrated.
They're gonna have no one left in the team though.
Bad.
It's
so bad.
They have no one left in the team. I wouldn't say he's so bad. I think there's glimpses, but I think he always would have worked better, almost as a DM that splits up, and that's just not the role that's there anymore. It never will be.
But you're saying they're not going to have anybody left in the team. That is the whole point. They need a full team rebuild. This is years, and the team is how it is with these players because of years and years and years of poor transfer decisions. They need a whole clear out and rebuild. That is why we are here to do this. Yeah. That's what they need. They shouldn't have any. They should be selling players, yeah, and just have like 10, if that first team players still left, and then have to build from that.
Yeah. All right. Okay. You convinced me. Sell. Yeah. Fine. Bring academy prospects through. That's what I say.
Let's do. Speaking of academy products, let's go Manu.
He's got to be keep. He's got to be. Even look. The one thing is, I would bet that most of these players, the young players, if they want to stay at Man United, will outlast the manager.
And I wouldn't sell him. I wouldn't sell him.
I wouldn't even bother loaning him because he's too good to loan. And I hate to say it as a Liverpool fan, but he is quality. And I think, let's not lie, Amorim could be out of job in 6 months. And you'd be sitting there then with your new manager coming back in, going back to a 4-back formation with a proper midfield, and you'd be going, oh, we need Kobe Mainoo now because he'd work.
I think he's overrated, personally. I don't think he's as good as the hype that everybody gave him.
I think there's overhype. I think there is overhype, but there's a good player behind the overhype. Just because someone's overhyped doesn't mean there's not a solid player underneath.
I'm not saying sell him. although he's probably the player that they would get the most for because he's
Maybe
English,
after
English
Garnacho.
tax.
Maybe after. I
No,
don't
there's
think.
the English
Yeah,
tax.
but it's a
English tax. So
bad
he would.
season though. Bad season.
He's only 19. He's only 18, 19 still. Whereas
Yeah.
Garnacho's like
You
21. So
got
he
like you
probably
got to
isn't.
whack him. You got to whack him and keep.
Yeah, I
It's
suppose.
not worth loaning him either. Like it's not. He's too good to loan.
Okay. Well, let's go for Xerxes.
Sell.
I wouldn't sell him because I do think there is a player
Just
there.
striker who can't score.
Well, they've got two of them.
Yeah, so yeah, and I'm gonna say sell for
But
Højlund too.
I'm not selling. I'm not saying keep him. I'm saying loan him out.
To where?
Get him a loan to a Premier League team, one of the promoted teams. No, not Leeds, but a Burnley or a
Why?
Sunderland.
Can I ask you something? Why not Leeds?
Because I mean, you'd never see it happen. I think the last
No,
player
but
was Scott Wilson.
right. But
United.
the reason, if as a fan of football, if it wasn't from Man United, would you be happy with taking him in on loan?
If he was from another team, maybe, yeah.
Why?
But
I
wouldn't. I wouldn't. Not as a promoted team. As a fan, I personally wouldn't. But I'm saying from a United's point of view, which is what we are doing.
Okay,
We're doing from a United's point of view, a lower Premier League club.
I'd loan him abroad.
Loan would be good.
I'd loan him abroad. I wouldn't even bother. I'd get him out of the spotlight for a year.
But you would loan him, yes.
Here's what I'd do. I'd loan him abroad so that he can increase his value. Yes. Because right now it's low as anything, and hope that he has a good season so you can sell him for slightly more.
I personally think it's confidence for him.
Maybe
he's been slaughtered by
not as bad as Højlund. Not as bad as Højlund. Oh, actually, by the fans, actually, I would actually argue that Xerxes had it worst. By his own fans.
Speaking of Højlund,
no, sell the donkey. Yep. Sell the donkey.
Do we need to say anything about him?
Maybe sell him to Auckland. He might make it into their starting 11.
I think he'd make it in goal. You're not getting 10 past him.
Oh god! All right, go on. Next up.
So let's go. Dorgu, I would keep.
I haven't seen anything good from him.
But I haven't seen anything bad from him. Do you know what? For me, he's one of them. He's one of the players in that team that does try. He chases every ball. He tries to play with that extra bit of passion. And he's only young. He's only 19. Do you know what I mean? He's got room to grow. And for that, he seems to be.
Keep. He'd be on my bench. He'd be on my bench. Keep him.
Right. Okay. We'll go Euro.
I think keep.
You know, what was it, 70 million for a player that had 6 months left on his contract?
Yeah, crazy business once again from Man United. But I'd say keep. I mean, he's young. There's talent there.
Yes, there's a player there.
There's something in there.
He definitely needs to beef up a bit.
Let's not lie. At the end of the day, Real Madrid did want him. Like Real Madrid wanted him. Which says
Real Madrid wanted them, then it says
it's just they would not pay that excessive wage, and maybe he was a bit impatient because personally, if I was him, I would have just stayed in France for a year and gone on a free.
Well, I bet he wishes he had now.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's go, Casemiro.
Sell. I mean, there's no debate on that, is there?
I mean, I won't even sell him.
Just release him. Cut the contract. Yeah. Just change the locks and don't give him a new key.
Don't get me wrong. He's one of the best centre defensive midfielders in the world. Well, was.
Yeah. His legacy is great, but he's
ruined it. He's just got his legs, and
I reckon he lied about his age. I reckon he lied. He's probably a couple of years older than he actually is. What's he
United?
Yeah. Well, no, from the start, and that's why he developed so well. So he's always a couple of years older. He prime early and stuff. Go on then, next up.
Right. Ugarte.
Keep. I think he gets a bad rap, personally.
I don't think he's bad. I think he's a bit rough.
I think it's... Yeah, but I actually don't think he's a bad player. And, I don't know why he doesn't start every game, personally. I think he came with a big-ish reputation but also something to back that up, if you ask me. So... Yeah, I would say keep.
He was at PSG must have seen
and
he went from Spotland to
PSG bought him for a fair price tag as well, didn't they?
So there's definitely a player there.
Maybe it's an attitude thing. Maybe I don't know, but
I don't know. I think he's just a bit.
I
He
thought he'd
loves
get
a
more
bit of a
game
dirty
time.
tackle.
Yeah, I
He
thought he'd
likes a
get
bit of
more
a dirty
game time.
tackle. That's his problem.
Yeah,
So we will go Diallo.
keep. Yeah, you gotta keep him. I think we actually passed by him. I think he might be their most valuable player.
Really?
I think so right now in terms of actual like if they were to sell. I think
I mean,
maybe.
if they were going to sell now, it'd be Manu or Yoro, I'd say.
Yeah, but well, look. Do you know what? This is the thing with Dallo. I think he's good. Maybe he looks better than he is because he's playing in such a poor side.
Yes.
And I think maybe because he's trying and he is performing well. I mean,
Because in a couple of them games,
what was it?
he has had to carry them.
Yeah, but
In
then
a
also
couple of them
he
games.
has then gone missing as soon as he gets marked.
Exactly.
I mean, there's a level of player, right? I always think if they shove two people on him and they're still causing issues, they're a world class player. Like your Hazards, your Salahs, your Bows, your Ronaldos, your Messis. Yeah, shove two people on him and they're still causing issues. If you shove two people on Diallo, he's not going anywhere, is he?
No.
Bruno.
Right. The final one, Bruno Fernandes.
I say keep. I think they need
So,
him. I think they'd be relegated.
I say keep because he's captain and all that and things like that. But for me, it's sell if Saudi come in and say 150 mil.
Yeah, only sell under ridiculous circumstances, and if you had a replacement that was willing to come in and
they
do
did,
his
and
job.
he said no because he didn't want to leave.
Was it Europe though? It was more Europe he didn't want to leave, wasn't it?
He didn't want to leave Europe, yeah. So
Yeah.
there is, but nobody's going to pay him the wages that it'd require for him to move, and the price that one want for him. So.
Anyways, that is our buy, keep, sell for Manchester United. Let us know what you would change in the comments down below. And moving on, that's not our buy, keep, sell. That's our keep, loan, sell. Who do you think Manchester United need to buy, Jamie? Firstly, positions. What do you think the main positions they need are? I personally think goalkeeper, centre back, striker.
So yeah, a goalkeeper, one or two centre backs, and a striker are the main priorities I think they need.
Yeah. Goalkeeper wise, I've got a couple in mind. I've got two. I'm going to shove one name out, which I shove out for everyone. So you're probably going to guess who I'm about to say. 3, 2, 1. James Trafford. Why not? Just look. He's available. Well, I'm not going to say he's available, but everyone. Look, if you're looking for a goalkeeper, he's a young keeper that you can get.
I mean, he is available. They've said 40 million is the price
Well,
tag.
there you go, 40 million. And look, we said what they could get like 25 million for Onana, so it's not terrible. And the other one I had in my mind, who now I'm a bit confused in his price tag, but Mike Maignan, because Chelsea were looking at about the £15 million mark. And
they wanted him for £15 million. AC Milan wanted 35 million.
35. But they'd run out of time
Chelsea
to negotiate.
Thought it was,
right? Club World Cup tax.
No, it wasn't that. Chelsea thought it was Club World Cup tax.
So I think though that 20 to 30 million range, if they could pick him up, I'd say that's not a bad shout. But they're my two thoughts.
I only have one. For me, it is the Porto goalkeeper. I think he's about 21, 22 years old. Diego Costa.
Yeah.
I think it's they love a player from Portugal. I think it'd be a perfect goalkeeper for Amorim.
Yeah.
With the Portuguese side, I think it'd fit in perfectly for them.
Yeah.
I think price tag you're probably looking at about 50, 60 million though. So
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, sticking with the Portuguese league, one of my centre backs that I thought of, and it's kind of a 2-for-1. Go to Amorim's former club, grab one of the centre backs from Sporting, either Diamonde. or Gonzalo Inacio. Either of the two. I think that would be a very good shout for Manchester United on who they could get.
I think they are two very likely transfers. I think that is you will probably see one of them at the club this season.
Yeah, I would say so.
I did look at them. For me, I kind of went with big names because going back to what we were talking about,
they can't escape.
Man United big names. It's just so I went for Botman from Newcastle.
Yeah, he's got injury prone though, isn't
he? Yeah, but Man United like injury prone players, so.
Yeah, maybe.
I went for a player that's trying to get out of Spurs.
Yeah.
Although I don't know. I can see the transfer, but I don't think he will because of European football.
Romero.
Christian Romero.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he'd be a really good fit for United as well. To be honest, I think he'd be really, really good. He would be that centre back with a bit of grit and determination about him, a bit of dirtiness, a bit of not Martinez dirtiness, but a bit of fight,
Yeah.
a bit, but
Shithousery.
yeah, kind of thing.
without
And
slapping
then
someone.
I did put a third in, and again, this is an injury-prone player, and I put it in because of our last podcast, the transfer that I said that they should sign, Eddie Militao. I
Yeah.
think he's not going to get game time at Real Madrid now. I think you're going to see him be sold,
Yeah.
and maybe at a cut price as well.
Yeah.
I know he struggled with a lot of injuries, but he's still a really good centre back, and he can play right back. I know maybe even that right wing flying back kind of thing. So I think that'd be a good one for them as well.
Yeah, fair. And then striker. Look, they got they stalked Gyökeres for quite a while, and he said he's put the restraining order in. He's blocked him off. He said, "Please don't call me anymore. I'm blocking your number. I don't want to go to you. I want to live a nice life in London with the other red team, Arsenal." Anyone that comes to your mind that they could go for that might be willing to go? Oh, I've stumped you.
Yes, because, and I think he's probably the second, third best striker in the world right now, and that is Victor Osimhen.
Yeah. Do you not think he's in my mind as well, right? Do you not think though does he not want to play in Europe? Has he as in Champions League? Has he not specifically stated that he wants to be competing at the top level? Because I thought that was the whole rejected Saudi, willing for Galatasaray. It would seem...
No, he basically, it was between Chelsea and Saudi. He rejected Saudi because he didn't want to leave Europe.
But I'm talking about now.
Europe.
Now he's willing for Galatasaray, isn't he? But then I suppose if he was looking at Chelsea last season, they were.
Well, he was looking at
Chelsea. Were only in the bottom tier of Europe.
The only reason they didn't sign him is because of their wage structure. Because what they do is they do lower wages, but it's over a longer period of years. So you still make the same money. It's just over. So even if you get sold, you get paid out on that contract regardless. So you're getting that money.
Yeah.
I know Galatasaray want to sign him permanently now, but he's holding out for a bigger name, bigger team. And Saudi is still interested, but he doesn't want to go. Now, the contracts, Man United would quite easily pay the contract that he'd want, the wages, and they'd probably pay the fee. I think the fee is still like 60, 70 million. Now that's the same as what you're going to pay for Gyökeres or Sesko. You know what I mean? And his record last season for Galatasaray was 26-31.
Yeah.
That's I know it's the Turkish league, but
you
still have to put the ball in the back of the net.
I agree. I think I agree. Osimhen would be an unreal signing for them. I'm going to pick out two names that wouldn't cost them anywhere near as much on the wage bill. Just would they come? I don't know. Potentially, I think one would say yes. The other, I'm not sure. Two proven Premier League strikers who have had consistently decent seasons in the.
Can I guess one?
Go on.
And I think it'd be a great signing for them. Patrick Bamford.
No.
No.
Sorry, as much as he'd probably be about as good as Højlund, but we're trying to escape that. I would say Wissa and Mateta.
This is not a striker.
He's a striker. He is a striker. We've been through this. Wissa is a striker. He plays through the middle. Wissa and Wissa and the other one Mateta. Wouldn't cost them anywhere near as much on the wage budget. Would they go just because it's Manchester United? Potentially. And they're goal scorers. They can finish. You know?
How about... Here's a crazy one.
Go on. To end it off.
What about Ivan Toney?
He's got to stay for another year in Saudi.
To
go his tax. He wants it. Listen, he wants his tax. He wants his money. You don't go Saudi without wanting the money.
If he wasn't bothered about
look next year. Maybe Man U shouldn't go for a striker this year. Maybe they should firm a year with Xerxes and Cunha, and then go for Toney next year.
They're trying to stay up, not be relegated. Okay.
And I'll chuck one other name out: Strand Larsen.
That would be a shout. Yeah, I do like that. Yeah. But do you know who I can? What they'll end up signing Danny Welbeck.
No, they'll end up signing a striker who can't score. Someone like João Pedro. I know he's going to
I was
Chelsea,
about to
maybe.
say, oh yeah.
Yeah, or Rutter. You know, he doesn't really score many goals as a striker.
Well, he's not a striker, is he, Bruce?
Yeah, but like a
he uses him as
striker.
10.
Yeah, but
Oh yeah, I suppose.
you know, it's like, or they go for an unproven one again. You know,
Well,
but yeah,
it'd be interesting because they were getting turned down. Delap turned them down for Chelsea. So you know, as much as they've got the pull because of the name, they're not guaranteed to get the players anyway.
Yeah.
Because the players are wanting Champions League football.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Anyways, I think we were going to do one more segment, but I think we'll save that for next time. And we'll call it there because that Man U segment has gone on for a mighty long time. It has been an absolute pleasure, Jamie. And yeah, we'll get into the transfers that have been happening next time, as well as more Club World Cup talk and some other juicy topics. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you in another one. Peace.
Yeah.